The rain fell relentlessly in Seattle, Washington, a somber symphony echoing the fear that gripped the city. The year was 1982 and a shadow had fallen upon the lush greenery of the Pacific Northwest. Young women, most of them vulnerable and living on the fringes of society, began to disappear. Their bodies, often found discarded along the banks of the Green River, bore the marks of a brutal and merciless killer. Fear permeated the air, as thick and heavy as the humid air, turning strangers into suspects and whispers into accusations. The Green River Killer, as he would come to be known, was a phantom, a chilling enigma that haunted the dreams of Seattle's residents. His reign of terror would span 2 decades, leaving behind a trail of shattered lives and unanswered questions. Each victim, a daughter, a sister, a friend, represented a life cut tragically short, their stories forever intertwined with the chilling narrative of the Green River Killer. This is the story of Gary Ridgway, the man behind the monster, and the relentless pursuit that brought him to justice. Gary Leon Ridgway was born in Salt Lake City, Utah, in 1949. His childhood was marked by a turbulent family life, plagued by constant relocation and domestic strife. Even as a young boy, there were red flags, flickering warnings of the darkness that lay beneath the surface. Ridgway struggled with a learning disability and was reportedly bullied for his low intelligence. He developed an unhealthy obsession with his mother, a domineering woman who allegedly belittled his father. Those who knew him in his youth described him as quiet, awkward, and harboring a simmering rage beneath his placid exterior. The line between fantasy and reality blurred for Ridgway as a teenager when he reportedly attacked a young boy, stabbing him and leaving him for dead. The boy survived, but this early act of violence would prove a chilling premonition of the horrors to come. The Green River Killer's reign of terror began in the summer of 1982. His victims, mostly young women involved in sex work or living on the streets, began appearing along the Green River, their bodies bearing the gruesome hallmarks of his depravity. He would often strangle them with his hands, sometimes during fits of rage, leaving their bodies posed in degrading positions. The victims, often overlooked by society and life, were given a voice in death. Their stories, pieced together through fragmented memories and missing person reports, painted a picture of vulnerability preyed upon by a predator lurking in the shadows. As the body count rose, so did the fear. The Green River Killer's name, whispered in hushed tones, became synonymous with terror, his presence felt in every dark alley and deserted street corner. The Green River Killer case quickly became the most extensive and complex criminal investigation in Washington state history. Law enforcement, overwhelmed by the sheer number of victims and the lack of concrete leads, found themselves chasing a ghost. The killer was meticulous, leaving little to no physical evidence at the crime scenes. Frustration mounted as months turned into years, and the killer continued to evade capture. The families of the victims, trapped in a purgatory of grief and uncertainty, clung desperately to hope, their pain compounded with each passing day. The investigation, hampered by dead ends and false leads, threatened to go cold, leaving the Green River Killer to continue his reign of terror unchecked. Section 5. A Glimmer of Hope, the Task Force and New Leads. In a desperate attempt to break the case, a dedicated task force was formed comprised of detectives from multiple agencies. They pored over evidence, interviewed countless individuals, and chased down every lead, no matter how small. Their dedication, fueled by a mix of determination and a growing sense of responsibility to the victims and their families, kept the investigation alive. A glimmer of hope emerged when investigators discovered a connection between Ridgway, who had been interviewed early in the investigation due to a traffic violation near a dumping ground, and several of the victims. He had been known to frequent areas known for prostitution, and his truck matched the description provided by a witness in one of the cases. However, with no concrete evidence to tie him to the murders, Ridgway remained a person of interest. his dark secret still hidden from view. Section 6. A monster unmasked, DNA evidence and Ridgway's confession. In a stunning turn of events, advances in DNA technology provided the break investigators desperately needed. Samples taken from Ridgway in 1987, as part of the initial investigation, were re-examined using new techniques. The results were conclusive. Ridgway's DNA matched that found on several of the Green River victims. Faced with irrefutable evidence, Ridgway confessed to the murders of 48 women, although he claimed to have killed even more. His chilling confession, delivered in a monotone voice devoid of remorse, revealed the depths of his depravity and the calculated nature of his crimes. He described his victims as disposable and trash, his words sending shockwaves of anger and disgust through the community and beyond. Section 7. Justice, but at what cost? The plea bargain and life sentences. In a controversial plea bargain, Ridgway agreed to cooperate with authorities and lead them to the remains of his victims in exchange for avoiding the death penalty. The families of the victims, torn between their desire for justice and the need for closure, grappled with the terms of the agreement. In 2003, Ridgway was sentenced to 48 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. The judge, visibly shaken by the details of the case, called Ridgway's crimes the work of a cunning, calculated, and utterly depraved serial killer. The sentence, while bringing a semblance of justice for the victims and their families, did little to heal the wounds left by Ridgway's reign of terror. Section 8. Scars that remain. The enduring legacy of the Green River Killer. The Green River Killer case left an indelible mark on the Seattle area and beyond. The sheer number of victims, the prolonged investigation, and the shocking nature of Ridgway's crimes sparked widespread fear and distrust. Law enforcement agencies re-evaluated their investigative techniques, and the case became a chilling reminder of the vulnerability of marginalized communities. For the families of the victims, the pain of their loss is a wound that may never fully heal. The plea bargain, while providing some answers, also left them with a sense of unfinished business, a lingering question of whether true justice had been served. The legacy of the Green River Killer serves as a somber reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary lives, and the importance of remembering and honoring the victims whose stories might otherwise be forgotten. Section 9. Conclusion. Echoes of Unsolved Mysteries. Even with Ridgway behind bars, the Green River Killer case continues to cast a long shadow. Ridgway's confession, while providing closure for some, also raised more questions. The exact number of his victims remains unknown, and the possibility of other unsolved murders linked to him continues to haunt investigators. The Green River Killer case serves as a stark reminder of the human capacity for both good and evil. It is a story about the victims, their lives cut tragically short, and the families who continue to grieve their loss. It is also a story about the relentless pursuit of justice, the dedication of law enforcement, and the importance of never giving up hope, even in the face of unimaginable darkness. The echoes of this chilling true crime tale continue to resonate, a cautionary reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring impact of violence on individuals, families, and communities.